Afternoon, everyone, and I'd like to open the special meeting at 12:30. Would someone like to move us into closed? Councillor O'Neill.
I move that in accordance with the provisions of 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, that Council resolve to close the meeting to the public to discuss the confidential items that its councillors consider is necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed, an overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. C1, waste bin collection contract approach.
Seconder. Councillor Brumpton. All those in favour? 9-0. Oh, did you vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9-0. All right, we're in closed.
Okay.
C1, waste bin collection contract approach. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council 1 resolves that the tender process, including the following pricing options: A, regional pricing covering all service areas; B, excluding service area B, covering all service areas except service area B, Mangala, Mitchell, Amby, Muckadilla, Dunkeld and Begonia, but including as a mandatory separable portion if ordered; C, service area B only, covering only service area B. 2, resolves to cease the industrial bin collection service for Mitchell and surrounding areas effective 30th of June 2026 due to the financial cost to council and the availability of commercial operators servicing the area. 3, authorises the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to write to the current contractor that services Mitchell and surrounds, AL Cherry and MG Pierce, ABN 96421481051 in partnership, and notify them of the decision to cease the service. 4, authorises the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to notify all ratepayers currently utilising this service of Council's decision, providing them with a list of local commercial waste service providers to assist with transitioning to alternate arrangements. 5, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to negotiate, if necessary, an extension of the current general waste collection service contract for a period of up to 7 months with AL Cherry and MG Pierce, ABN 96421481051 in partnership, to undertake the general waste collection service contract in accordance with conditions and requirements of the current contract executed on 5th of February 2016 for A, service area B, Mangala, Mitchell, Amby, Muckadilla, Dunkeld, Begonia. 6, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to negotiate, if necessary, an extension of the current general waste collection service contract for a period of up to 7 months with GE Grams, ABN 25588181896, to undertake the general waste collection service contract in accordance with conditions and requirements of the current contract executed on the 24th of June 2016 and as amended dated 6th of September 2018, A, service area E, Surat. 7, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to negotiate, if necessary, an extension of the current general waste collection service contract for a period of up to 7 months with Braca Proprietary Limited, ACN 131726899, as trustee for B&R Gordon Family Trust, ABN 510296900096, to undertake the general waste collection service contract in accordance with conditions and requirements of the current contract executed on the 5th of February 2016 for A, service area C, Roma and Hodson, B, service area D, Wallumbilla, Jackson and Newbar. 8, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to negotiate, if necessary, an extension of the current general waste collection service contract for a period of up to 7 months with Braca Proprietary Limited, ACN 131726899, as trustee for B&R Gordon Family Trust, ABN 510296900096, to undertake the general waste collection service contract in accordance with conditions and requirements of the current contract that commenced on the 2nd of September 2021, A, service area A, in June. 9, authorise the Chief executive officer or delegate to identify and engage a suitable contractor or implement an in-house solution if necessary to provide general waste collection services for the contract areas as required. This is to ensure uninterrupted service delivery for a potential extension period of up to 7 months if required.
To have a seconder, councillor Brompton.
Can I just, Kelly, in number 7, it's got CAN needs to be changed to ACN. Councillor Vincent did say ACN, but the wording, the
Oh,
typing.
it is. Yep. It should be ACN.
Yeah, you did say it correctly, it just hasn't been
It's not
reflected
there
in the.
correctly, yeah. Are you happy to second? Is
I'm
that
happy
it?
to second if, yeah.
Okay, councillor Vincent, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would like to speak. Thank you. The community looks to council to deliver 3 things really well: the roads, the rates and the rubbish. This tender needs to deliver the highest possible service delivery on waste collection. I believe this motion, respecting all of the views that have been given here at council and also the advice given from the council officers here today, that this tender gives us the best opportunity in regard to risk, budget and service delivery.
Thank you. Anyone like to speak against? Councillor Hancock.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I do understand the complexity of the tender put in front of us, and thanks to the staff for doing such a load of work behind the scenes and explaining to us really fully. So it hasn't been taken lightly. But I do feel that council were provided with an alternative resolution that would have provided fair and equitable opportunity to businesses to tender, no matter whether you're small, medium or large, for the smaller communities. And today's decision isn't about economics. Today's decision, I believe, was about providing that fair and equitable opportunity to those businesses and to those smaller communities. And it's proven that it can be done, because with the resolution that's put up today, Mitchell has been separated off from the tender, but Surat hasn't been considered in that resolution. And because I do think today's decision is about the fair and equitable opportunity and not based on the economics, because that decision will come at a later date, that's why I'm not supporting this motion as put up today.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for? Councillor Brompton.
Obviously, council in closed session has had a lot of discussions around this, and there's been lots for us to consider as councillors, because it's very hard to balance supporting local business with supporting the community as a whole. My consideration of this was around that we have an obligation to all the ratepayers. This is one of the few decisions that we make in council that goes for so long. It's 8 years plus potentially 2, so it's 10 years, 2 successive council terms. We have to make sure that I think that we're doing the right thing for as many people as we can. I do acknowledge how hard it is for local business opportunities in small communities, but I couldn't balance the chance of us getting not the best value for money and not the best options for service delivery for our whole community to consider a small business, whether it be a current small business or a new small business in one small community. I know that's a hard thing, and it's something I've really had to consider around the economics. But part of this also is around the more we separate off, we know the less chance we have of getting the best value for money and the best options for having a sustainable service for our community for up to 10 years. So that's my decision making and why I support this option. The reason I'm supportive of Mitchell is it does have its own waste facility, and an individual can go there and not have to transport the waste to Roma. So it's our second largest community, and with the other areas involved, it's quite a large component of the area. So I was quite happy for that to be considered as part of this.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak against? Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I'll speak against this motion. This is a very complex subject, and there's been a mountain of work in the background from the staff, so thank you guys for that. Roma and Mitchell are very different due to the landfill situations and the weighbridge. As a council, we need to find a balance between supporting local business, giving an opportunity for small business to grow, and also an opportunity for business to start up in our community, and also value for council and ratepayers. So I take on board what Councillor Brumpton just said, but And although my local area is supported in this motion, I still think there's another resolution that I believe will still cover the Mitchell area and also give an opportunity for someone in another smaller community known as Surat, an opportunity to tender and potentially run a small business, which will be a benefit to that community. So in this situation, I'll be voting against.
Thank you. Anyone else for? Councillor Davis.
Thank you. Rubbish collection is something that touches every single household in our towns and areas. It might not be the glamorous, it's definitely not a ribbon cutting moment or a headline announcement, but without question it's one of the most essential services up there with roads and rates that local government is tasked to provide. So every week without fail our residents place their bins out to the curb trusting that council will deliver. They trust that their waste will be collected reliably, safely and efficiently. They trust that public health will be protected. They trust that their streets, parks and communities will remain clean and livable. Waste collection is fundamentally community wellbeing. It protects the environment and safeguards public health, supports local businesses and ensures our towns remain places people are proud to call home. Because it is such a critical service, the way we procure it matters. But when we talk about selecting a contract approach that we are today, we are not just discussing paperwork and process. We are deciding how we secure value for money on behalf of our residents. Every ratepayer dollar must be spent responsibly. Our community expects us to be diligent, transparent and accountable. Importantly, a consideration of mine was that the landscape we are operating in today is not the same as it was during previous years. We are now within the state government waste levy zone, which has fundamentally changed the cost of structure of waste management. All rubbish must now be disposed of at a facility that has a weighbridge. For us, that is either Mitchell or Roma. Council has put in massive investment into providing this. This is not a renewal of past arrangement, it's more complex and regulated environment that requires careful evaluation. As Councillor Hancock mentioned, there was an alternate resolution put forward, but that option being referred to was carving off a piece of the area where I just can't put Surat above an Injune or a Yulba or a Wallumbilla. So I feel that selecting the right tendering scope allows council to encourage genuine competition, ensure fairness and transparency, attract capable and experienced contractors and deliver the reliable service outcomes, and most importantly, achieve the best value of money for our residents. Best value of money is not simply the lowest price, it is a balance of cost, quality, reliability, safety, environmental responsibility, compliance capability and long-term sustainability. What a mouthful. But we must ensure that the contractor and all contractors we engage have the capacity for our region with the right equipment and compliance standards and area of service. So by selecting an appropriate and robust contract approach, we protect council, we protect our ratepayers and we protect the integrity of this organisation. Rubbish collection may seem routine, but it is foundational. It is one of the most visible services we provide, and when it doesn't work, the community feels it immediately. That is why we must get it right, and for those reasons, I'll be voting in favour of this motion.
Thank you. Anyone else against? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I appreciate this is an awfully complex issue, and it's one that I can see, and I hope the community will see that we've put a lot of time and effort in as decision makers to reach our respective decisions here today, and the staff have done what they needed to do to put the options in front of us for us to consider. I was part of the council that awarded the last contract for waste management, and firmly recognise the important service that each and every week when our bins are picked up, and how important that is for our community. Also, having been a decision maker at that time, saw firsthand the importance of, in the first instance, going out to ensure that was an equal opportunity for people to tender, and then for council to make the ultimate decision based on the tender submissions. I heard my colleagues say that the landscape has changed. I accept that the state government's decisions around the waste levies have driven that. Market has driven that as well, and we've seen a change to the areas that the contractor, some contractors pick up for us, has expanded because of changes in circumstances over the life of this contract. We had, as it stands, 3 distinct areas, being Roma, coupled with Injune and Yulbar and Wallumbilla, Surat and Mitchell. What would, in my view, have been an alternative option to ensure that we were going out to market for those 3 distinct areas in the first instance, while also inviting tenders for a regional approach. Then we would be making a decision at a future meeting when those tenders were submitted, assessed and ultimately awarded. We would make the decision based on value for money, the economics of it, and ensuring that we're considering all facets of why we sit in this chamber and making decisions on behalf of our community. That's not the case. I can see which way this is going, and I respect my colleagues for going in an alternative direction to mine, but I just can't support it today that we aren't including Surat in our processes to go out to market and to test the market in that competitive approach of having those 3 distinct areas against a regional approach. And so therefore I won't be supporting the motions as been moved today.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for?
I'd just like to say a few words, very few words. Looking at the tender and the current cost of the existing contracts to the Maranoa Regional Council, it's around $1.38 million per annum. I believe that we need to sit down and have a look at this and vote as far as the value for money situation goes, and take away the while we're looking at transparency for the smaller regional communities, take away the fact from our ratepayers that we are looking at value for money for them. So we'll be voting for the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Flynn. I'm not going to vote for this motion today either, because I think Surat should be included as well, and the whole economic side, as Councillor Hancock said, it's not about the money today, it's about the opportunity. So I believe that Surat have a small business that is doing the job. If they tender again or not, that's totally up to them. Same with Mitchell, and same, the rest is like Injune did have one, but now they don't. So Roma has picked that one up. So to be honest, I just think they deserve to have a chance. Not saying that anyone's going to get it. It's down to economics, as Councillor Flynn just said, but we don't know what that price is yet. We haven't seen anything, and that will come back to the table. So harder decisions will be made then. And I do thank the staff, because I know you've worked hard on all of this and all our briefings to get us to where we are today. So thank you very much. Councillor Seawright, you want to speak?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I'd like to speak for this motion. While this isn't quite the option I would like to for us to have, it's the closest I think we can possibly get in favour of getting the best deal for our communities in regards to the not exactly the cheapest option, but also could be the most reliable option. So without separating out any other communities, I think if we're going to separate out our small communities into those different areas, I think we should separate out all of them, because there'd be operators, there could possibly be operators in every small town, not based on currently what we have. So if we were going to separate out one or two, we might as well separate out the lot. That does create, for us, maybe an issue with our tendering, and then we might not get the best deal for our communities and the most reliable. I've been in the mechanic land, and I've actually seen what happens when trucks cannot perform their duties. I worry a lot about a smaller, not saying they cannot meet those obligations, but I worry about a smaller operator in a smaller community that mightn't have as much work, cannot actually have a spare truck, or to support that requirement, break down halfway through. People's rubbish are left there for another day or two. Well, that's already been waiting there for a week, so to speak. The bins are full once a week, another day or two, and we're just trying to scrabble to get another operator into the area or some backup for those people. Whereas if we can go with a larger supplier or someone who covers the whole area, I'm definitely sure they'll have a spare truck and they can actually meet those obligations in each community. I'm not saying I don't support small businesses. I actually would love to see an operator local to actually cover the whole area. There's enough work there for one truck to run around the whole area with even just having a weekend off. So I'd love to see that happen. But for me, this is I support this motion today because it's pretty much the closest I can get to reliability and economic for our whole entire region.
Thank you. Would you like to sum up, councillor?
Yeah, thank you to my fellow councillors for all their comments, and just to reiterate again, to thank you to the staff and to the consultant as well for the work that's been put into the best way to do this and all the information provided. As Councillor Seawright said, this is an opportunity for a small business. We've seen it in our roads where we've had a very small operator gradually get work, and now he's been able to get larger contracts with council. So we've seen those opportunities within council. So this is definitely a way a small business can grow and become involved. We have learnt that it is a business that could be taken on by one truck. So the service delivery is one of my biggest things that I was thinking around this tender. But yeah, as we said, this is only going out to tender. This is not the hard section at the end. So that's all I've got to say.
Thank you. On that note, we'll go to the vote. Sim, everybody has spoken. All those in favour? Against? 5-4. All right, on that note, we'll close the meeting at 1:46, and thank you all for coming to the special meeting today.